Hello everybody and welcome. Today I have a new series that I'm going to be starting where I'm going to be making different emblems and that sort of thing in the emblem creator. A lot of popular icons and that sort of thing that you guys might enjoy. Today for you guys I have Woody's gamertag. Now I made two. I feel like the first one that I made actually looks a lot better, but this one is going to be a little bit more in depth. Just because it follows suit with his look a little better. So basically, what you're gonna start by doing is you're gonna create the actual background itself. So what I did was to create the little dashed thing around the edge, the darker blue. We're gonna start with a rounded rectangle, which is this shape right here. Every time I keep selecting it, it's gonna keep highlighting. So you basically just create a rounded rectangle. And then we're also going to create I can't even remember. That's from Hardpoint. It's a Hardpoint icon, which is just a bunch of arrows. If you want, I suggest actually starting with the background of it. It usually makes it a lot easier. So you start with just a normal brown square. These layers in here are actual layers, and I'll get to them in a little bit. But another thing that we're going to do is we're going to make the border around it. And instead of actually doing just a solid shape, we ended up going with the rounded rectangle and then switching it to outline mode so that it creates the outline and it creates his border without covering up the brown, and it allows us to actually create the stroke that's going to be around this whole thing. So we did two of those so that it's a little bit thicker. It's not just a single line. And now for most of the shape, you can do this with a square. With the freeform shape tool, you can, mold and mesh it into whatever you need it to be. So you can make a lot longer of rectangles and that sort of thing, which is exactly what I did in this. I didn't know about the freeform tool, and I made another version of this, and I'll actually show you guys that one in a little bit. So basically, you're just gonna sit here and fill in the shape. The only weird icon is this is from, I think they call it the pillar or something like that. But basically, it's like a half of a Black Ops 2, if that makes any sense. So we did that for the G, so that we have the little inset as well. In here, I'll even change the color so you can see exactly where it is. There's some weird stuff going on around it. But yeah, so you can kind of tell when you change the color where it is exactly. And I need to change that back. I need to change it back. And now we can actually create the stroke. So I suggest that you do the letters first, and then you duplicate one of the blue strokes, make it a little bit smaller, and then make it white so that it actually fills this area. Because if we lower the opacity, you can see some of the shapes behind it and stuff like that. I just pointed at my screen, and I know you guys can't see that, but I don't really care. So now we have the stroke. So now to create the actual stroke of everything, what we're going to be doing is we're actually going to be doubling up on all the layers. This shape right here is actually the only awkward shape that we have. Basically what I did was I took the little U looking thing so that it fills that area and also can go up to that point, because if we change it if we change it to, let's say, a square, it starts to stick out and you can see where the blues actually go and all that stuff. So that's the reasoning for that tool. But for the most part, everything is just going to be a double up of what it previously was. So it's going to take up a lot of layers to complete this, guys. Unfortunately, I'm sorry about that. But that's just the way it is for this. Because if you want to make things detailed, sometimes you can't just simplify it and cheat the system. You gotta make it exactly how it's supposed to look, and sometimes that just requires a little bit more effort and a little bit more work. So you can see once we actually have the strokes on there, it's looking pretty good. Another thing that we're gonna add to it is his little cutout circle in the top corner. Another thing that is what I consider needed, and then that color, all you'll do is you'll change that depending on whatever player card you're using, so it looks like it's actually transparent. It won't actually be transparent, or you can just leave it white, or you can put it black or dark blue, you know, whatever color you really want. That doesn't really matter. And then another thing that I added in, oop, that's way too bright, is we put in his little glare in the corner, just because it's another little added touch. I also put another glare, but I don't really like it. So actually, what we're gonna do, we are gonna change this to the scribble, because the scribble actually makes it look like it's actually on wood. Then, if we change that, so now we're just gonna change it to a darker brown, bring up that opacity, and bam, shit looks like it's on wood. That's just to kind of emulate his look. Now to create this little awkward shape up here, I use these like teardrop looking things, and basically the rounded part of it is gonna form up at the circle, around that circle up there. So that'll create his little awkward shape that he has. I really wish that he didn't add that shape, because it would make this so much easier to make and you could save a lot of time. But unfortunately that's how it's made. So we will actually save this. Emblem has been saved, and now I'll show you the other one really quick. I think that it actually looks better, and it looks a lot closer to his look, but unfortunately, I'm going to delete this layer. Unfortunately, it doesn't have the stroke, which is a problem. I mean, that's part of his look, but basically it's a similar idea, except for the fact that I didn't know that I could do freeform. Oh, there goes my phone. I didn't know that I could do freeform, so all of these are their actual pieces. So, you know, rounded corners, straight lines. To get the rounded edges, like for instance, this part right here, I'll change the color. To get this circle over here, you know, or to get that rounded edge on the G, what we did is, you know, you basically just don't match up the squares around it, and then you create circles, so that you end up creating that roundedness that would come with some icons. So, I mean, I think that this one overall is a better icon. Unfortunately, it doesn't have the stroke, which can make it worse. I mean, I've got a little bit of room to do a stroke, but not much at all, unfortunately. You know, here, we'll add the white stroke in the inside, because I think that'll definitely help it a lot. So we'll change that, and then what we'll do is we will just drop it below all of the text layers, and that should give us our stroke. So, I mean, I guess that looks a little bit better. Or we could even drop it below our outline layer, so that it's a little bit more prominent. No, it looks better above. It looks better above. Shrink that in a little bit. So that's what I got for you guys today. Most of the emblem things that I've been seeing, they've just been speed arts, and where I would like to do a speed art, that would be great, but I think that I would rather go through and explain what is needed and kind of show you the pieces and show you the layers, as opposed to just building it. This one, I had the speed art for this one, but unfortunately I did not end up using that as my final. You know, I ended up using the one that actually has the stroke, just because it's I think it's a better looking icon. I don't know why I keep going into it, but they both get the job done. I hope that you guys enjoyed. If you guys have any suggestions of icons that I should make, let me know. I'm going to be doing some bigger names for YouTube and that sort of thing, so hopefully you guys will enjoy this little series that I'm starting. Anyways, I'll talk to you guys later.